KUAM News Headlines is presented by Calvo's Insurance, serving Guam for 80 years. And brought to you by Matson and the Adahi Tanu program. Cars Plus, reminding you to put your phone down while driving. Distractions won't get you there. Heads up, Guam. IP&E, fueling excellence. McDonald's of Guam, I'm loving it. And King's Restaurants, always open, always local, and serving up favorites for over 40 years.
Coming up on Prime Time, Chris Barnett speaks with the Animal Wellness Foundation as the federal ban on cockfighting in United States territories looms. Plus the latest in the Jotnya Mayor's case as the U.S. Attorney's Office has responded to the motion to exclude certain evidence. And we've got results from the Guam Police Department's Stakeholder Perception Survey.
Hafade and good evening, everyone. The head of an off-island group raising awareness about a looming federal cockfighting ban says cockfighting is not a part of Guam's culture and also clarifies how its rewards program from turning in cockfighters works. Here's more with Chris Barnett.
Animal Wellness Action Group head Wayne Pacelli tells KUAM he stands by his survey. That controversial survey of 400 Guam residents saying 61% of us are against cockfighting.
62% that's considered a landslide in American politics.
Pacelli's group paid market research and development to conduct the poll.
To me, it wasn't a surprise. I know it's a surprise to a lot of people who had assumptions, but I think those assumptions were driven by the intensity of the cockfighters' feelings.
Pacelli said his survey shows that cockfighters here on Guam are a small but very vocal minority. He adds that our local elected leaders, quote, got it wrong by supporting cockfighting and opposing the federal ban on it.
Many of them had the perception that support for cockfighting was overwhelming. I really hope they look closely at our poll. I will provide a copy of that poll to all of the senators representing Guam.
With the Fed ban going into effect next Friday, it remains to be seen how the federal government will enforce it, since Gov Guam has essentially said it won't. Mayor's Council of Guam Executive Director Angel Sablan tells KUAM the governor advised mayors not to solicit for village fiesta cockfights after December 20th. Meanwhile, Attorney General Even Camacho, in a release, said his office would pass the ban buck to Uncle Sam. Because there is no local basis for criminal action, if the Office of the Attorney General receives any complaints, it will be forwarded to federal law enforcement authorities, Camacho's release said. Pacelli, meanwhile, said Guam must obey the law.
We are a nation of laws, and this nation of laws has said that this practice is no longer permitted in our society. This is the way a representative government works, and Guam is part of the United States, and this is now the law of the United States.
Pacelli also offered clarity on his group's reward program, encouraging Guam residents to turn in anyone who may be involved with cockfighting. He said people seeking that reward can send tips to endcockfighting.org. And he said he's already gotten several tips from both Guam and CNMI tipsters. And while it may be easy enough to tell on cockfighters, it'll definitely be harder to claim your reward, since you won't get paid until after the people you turn in have their day in federal court. And that day in court could take months or even years.
It wouldn't be enough to simply, provide the information. It has to result in a conviction. That is something that we want to be real clear about.
With evidence of cockfighting on Guam going back hundreds of years, many cockfighting advocates have made the argument that cockfighting is a part of our culture. Pacelli dismissed that argument, his group even posting on their Facebook page that cockfighting is not culture. He says he's heard the culture argument before.
I've heard the same argument in Oklahoma from rural whites. I heard the same argument from Cajuns in Louisiana. I heard the same thing from Hispanics in New Mexico. And the reality is, in all of those places, while some small segment of cockfighters claimed that they had done this for hundreds of years, they cited presidents who cockfighted in the 1800s, the people of all of those jurisdictions ultimately decided, either directly by ballot initiative or through their elected representatives to outlaw this practice.
The federal ban goes into effect next Friday. Possible penalties include fines up to $250,000, seizures of property and cash, and possible jail time. For Guam's News Network, Chris Barnett reports.
The U.S. Attorney's Office responds to Jonia Mayor Jesse Blas's motion to exclude certain evidence in his upcoming federal trial.
Federal prosecutors are asking the court to hold off on making any decision just yet on Attorney Joseph Rosano's request to prohibit any testimony about allegations of domestic violence or abuse and testimony related to allegations of tampering with the Superior Court probation system during the upcoming trial of his client, Jonia Mayor Jesse Blas. Blas is accused of accepting bribes and extortion to smuggle in drugs through the U.S. Postal Service cluster boxes in his village. Rosano says the allegations are irrelevant to the charges and would be prejudicial to Blas. The government responds stating they have no intention of eliciting such evidence at trial. However, because they're not aware what the defendant's defense will be, it can't speculate as to its potential relevance. As for Rosano's request to exclude testimony involving former DOC Deputy Director and former Superior Court Marshal Joey Terlahi, the government asked the court to deny this request as they plan to present only limited evidence involving him. According to court documents, such limited evidence is directly relevant to charges the mayor faces. The government says the FBI's informant, Brenda Kinian, saw Terlahi with Blas on one occasion and then asked if she had to worry about him because he was wearing a law enforcement uniform. Blas allegedly told Kinian no because Terlahi was his pari. On another occasion, during a recorded phone conversation, Kinian called Blas and asked if Joey should be included in one of their meetings to give him some of the bribe money. Blas responded that only me should receive the money. The government contends that the references to Joey occur during the very transactions during which Blas is charged with violating the law. Quote, these instances are relevant not because of their references to Terlahi, but rather because of the context in which they occur. Blas's case is scheduled to go to trial in January. He has pleaded not guilty. He is still the mayor of Jonia on paid leave up until December 23rd. Mayor's Council of Guam Executive Director Angel Sablan, however, says there has been discussion regarding his potential resignation.
At our officers meeting a couple of weeks ago, I did mention to Mayor Melissa and Mayor Hoffman that, this talk between that he may resign. And to help him along, if we could probably do a draft of a resignation letter. And so Mayor Hoffman agreed to provide that. He sent it to me, and I forwarded that, but we haven't heard anything since then.
After December 23rd, Blas will no longer be receiving pay. His staff has been running the Jonia Mayor's office, while Sablan has been tasked to sign off on any official documents on behalf of the mayor. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Sabrina Salas, Matsunani.
And keeping with the village of Jonia, the office of Vice Speaker Talena Nelson, in coordination with the Jonia Mayor's office, will host a town hall meeting to hear the concerns of residents in regards to public safety and community welfare. It will begin at 7 p.m. on Wednesday, December 18th at the Jonia Community Center. Nelson said the great people of Jonia have been urging island leaders to hear their concerns about public safety and community welfare. We will not let their voices go unheard. The results are out, and apparently the public doesn't have a very good opinion of the Guam Police Department. Adriana Cotero reports.
A total of 877 residents took part in a survey to determine just how well of a job GPD is doing when it comes to protecting and serving the community. The survey was conducted between over a 3-month span beginning in March of this year. Chief of Police Stephen Ignacio.
If you look at the survey and you look at some of the topics that we get, the information that we gathered when the governor and lieutenant governor went out on their town hall meetings as well, one of the concerns was always the lack of police officers, the lack of police presence.
Matter of fact, according to the survey results, police visibility is low and the frequency of seeing police walking in the streets is even lower. Although residents had faith when contacting officers from the Tuman, Tamuning, and Agate precincts. Those results didn't hold the same for residents in Dededo and Agana, who were slightly less convinced of the effectiveness of calling GPD to solve major issues. The results also indicate sentiment in the community that the police are generally biased in doing their job. They also had mixed views about the integrity and freedom from prejudice among the police. only 36% of those surveyed said they trusted the police. As for crime, the top 3 concerns were theft, home invasion, and sexual assault. You can read the survey on KUAM.com. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Adriana Cotero.
And Police Chief Ignacio confirms that the officer from the viral video seen alleging to have punched defendant Jobert Carlos is placed on paid leave. It was last week when the video went viral, and according to Ignacio, there are 3 investigations into the incident. This includes a civil rights violation investigation, a criminal investigation by the AG's office, and also an internal affairs investigation.
We got to remember these are allegations, and the duty is to investigate the allegations and to determine whether or not the allegations are founded or not. And so what we do is, like in any other criminal investigation or investigation for that matter, it's important to separate the witnesses so that we get independent accounts of what they saw and what they witnessed.
Internal affairs investigations have a maximum of 90 days to complete, and Ignacio says there will be some time before they are able to provide feedback as to the outcome. As for the defendant, Carlos has yet to be arraigned and is being represented by the Public Defender Service Corporation. Over in Saipan, the Department of Public Safety is investigating a double homicide. At around 7:35 this morning, DPS received a call reporting 2 unresponsive females at a Korean restaurant that produces rice cakes located in San Antonio. Police and crime scene technicians were dispatched to the scene. This case is ongoing. If you have any information relating to it, no matter how insignificant it may seem, you are urged to call the Criminal Investigation Bureau on Saipan at 664-9042, or if you wish to remain anonymous, you may call the CNMI Crime Stoppers hotline at 234-7272. There's a new buyer for the former Redemptorist Mater Seminary. This comes just one day after it was announced that the $6.1 million deal to sell the property in the Archdiocese of Agana bankruptcy case had fallen through. The new buyer is one of the former offers, TF Investments, who had bid $5.4 million and later raised it to $5.7 million. In a bankruptcy court hearing today, Archdiocese of Agana attorney Fort El Saucer explained that the funding for U.S.-based B-side investments was apparently pulled at the last minute, and the company had asked for more time. It put up an additional $100,000 in non-refundable earnest money, but later advised the church it would be pulling out. Archdiocese local attorney John Terlahi.
Basically, the purchaser, they have every right. They came back and they said they don't want to proceed with the purchase of the property. No specific reasoning. They sent us a cancellation notice, and so now we're moving forward with a new purchaser.
Terlahi says the church was surprised by the last-minute cancellation, but their realtor was able to go back to former bidder TF and get a new deal. TF Investments is a longtime contractor in the Marianas, and El Saucer says it has put $5.7 million in cash in escrow and is, quote, ready to close.
As you heard from the court, I think it is. We're pretty optimistic the court will accept it. All the other parties have basically agreed. At least the creditors' committee has agreed.
A hearing on the prospective sale was expedited and is now scheduled for next Friday, December 20. The Archdiocese will keep the now $200,000 in earnest money put up by B-Side Investments. Take Care Insurance is challenging the constitutionality of a recent law that requires health insurers to include all civilian hospitals in their network coverage. It's the company's latest lawsuit against the new government health care contract awarded to rival Aetna International. In a hearing before federal magistrates judge Joaquin Manabusan, Take Care argued that the law that was passed this year ahead of the GovGuam health insurance bid is, quote, an unlawful delegation of authority. It contends that it gives private hospital GRMC the power to determine who can bid on the contract. For example, a company like Take Care, which does not have a deal with GRMC, cannot, in effect, bid. But government attorneys argued that Take Care lacked standing to bring the case because it never submitted a bid. They further contend that the named defendant, Director of Administration Ed Byrne, was simply complying with the law passed by senators who wanted to give GovGuam employees the option to use all hospitals. Judge Manabusan has taken the case under advisement. Guam Department of Education has published the solicitation for the request for proposal for architectural and engineering services to the Simon Sanchez High School project. This is the second phase of the development, according to GDOE Superintendent John Fernandez. Earlier this year, they completed the land surveying, and now they can enter the design stage.
We're really hoping that now that we're in the design phase, that the whoever the winning vendor is will be able to work with us and with the Simon Sanchez community to really clarify what those needs are, to really help us look through the options for the design of the building, and then work through the process to give us a product that we can be proud of in terms of a rebuilt Simon Sanchez High School.
The deadline for the RFP bid is January 13th, and it's estimated that the design stage will take 6 to 9 months. Once the designs are near complete, then GDOE will move forward with the finance and construction of the project, and that will be phase 3. Port Deputy General Manager for Administration Connie Jo Shinohara has resigned. The governor has quickly appointed Luis Baza as a permanent replacement, who was immediately hired today by the board. Port General Manager Rory Respicio says Shinohara had submitted her resignation to Board Chairman Frank Santos.
As I reported to the board, he received a resignation letter from Connie Jo Shinohara indicating that she was resigning for personal reasons. And also Ms. Shinohara indicated that she believes that she's leaving the port very strong management with good employees. And because of this decision that she had to make, she tendered her resignation.
Respicio said he had no further insight into the reasons for the resignation. Shinohara is the sister of former Corrections Director Samantha Brennan, who also resigned recently. Meanwhile, Governor Leon Guerrero issued a statement calling Shinohara a trusted friend and true professional who will be sorely missed. The governor quickly appointed a new port deputy, Luis Baza, who the board immediately hired.
But I also, at the board meeting, expressed my appreciation for Ms. Shinohara's service to the Port Authority and that welcome Mr. Luis Baza because of his own private and public sector experiences.
Baza is a former director and current board member of the Civil Service Commission. Meanwhile, during her tenure, Shinohara was in charge of a task force that made recommendations to the board about the so-called Port 7, employees who were fired during the previous administration for their roles in an alleged illegal workmen's compensation claim payment to former port marketing manager Bernadette Meno. The Civil Service Commission has since reinstated 2 of those employees. The latest was former Personnel Services Administrator Francine Rocio, who gets her old job back with full back pay.
She was going through the Civil Service Commission. Ms. Rocio prevailed in round 1 on 3 motions to dismiss. The port appealed those motions. There was a motion reconsideration hearing, and she prevailed again. And so she was reinstated pursuant to this new law that she gets reinstated no matter what the next steps are.
Respicio says attorneys are still working out the back pay amounts. It could go back 7 years as the employees were fired in 2012. Back with more news right after this.
Get up-to-the-minute news, plus access to alerts, streaming radio, promotions, and more on your mobile device by downloading the KUAM News mobile app, available at the App Store now.
The mall as you enjoy your shopping, dining, or entertainment. You could also win 3 great cars from Atkins Kroll and thousands of prizes in Micronesia Mall's Cars, Prizes, and Getaways game. Present your mall receipts and have a chance to win the renowned performance Chevrolet Camaro, the unapologetic rugged Toyota 4Runner, or the head-turning Lexus ES350 Luxury. Getaways to Manila, courtesy of Philippine Airlines, plus prizes from Foot Locker and Burger King. The more you shop, the more chance to win in Micronesia Mall's Cars, Prizes, and Getaways game.
Half the day, I'm in the club.
Half a day, welcome to Two Lovers Point.
Half the day, I'm in the club.
Normal should never be abandoned, abused, neglected. 265 foster children on Guam have longed for family, clothes, and food. See their faces, hear their stories, Be a foster family and bring them home, where faith, love, and stability will change their lives. Please support the magic of giving this Christmas.
It's a special delivery to your inbox every week with your KUAM News Roundup, program advisories, and promotions. Sign up for the weekly KUAM Digital Digest today on KUAM.com.
Welcome back. The key that unlocks the doors of the Sinhaño Central Precinct has been turned over to the Guam Police Department. During this afternoon's Guam Housing and Urban Renewal Authority Board meeting, Executive Director Ray Tupazna presented the keys to GPD Chief Steve Ignacio. According to Ignacio, they are in the process of moving everything in and expect to be fully operational by February. The precinct will accommodate 31 police officers and include 69 rooms. This key turnover came after the Department of Public Works signed off on the full occupancy permit on Wednesday. GURA held the ribbon-cutting ceremony for the building back in June. The total cost of the project was $4.2 million and was funded through a U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development grant. 23 individuals now have the power to arrest and the duty to protect as they were sworn in to the Guam Police Department. After 7 months of hands-on training, the 20th cycle graduates took the oath and received their official badges at a ceremony at GPD's Tizan headquarters. According to GPD Chief Stephen Ignacio, the new officers will assume their positions on Sunday.
We've always been talking about our shortages of police officers, and so this is a welcome relief, both to the police department, but more importantly to the community. It's always good to have new additions to the police force, but more importantly, it goes to the community. I'm sure that they'll feel safer knowing that there are more police officers on their street. The waiting time for calls when they make calls to the police department, will decrease, and we'll be able to respond more effectively to their concerns.
In addition, Chief Ignacio says they've interviewed 19 applicants over the past 2 days in preparation for the next round of hiring. The department is targeting at least 30 more officers for the next police cycle. A repeat sex offender on parole was arrested again after being accused of sexually assaulting a 14-year-old girl. The victim reported the incident at school on Thursday. Court documents state 32-year-old Henry Cepeda Chanel sexually assaulted her on December 7th at a Jigo residence. He was charged with second-degree criminal sexual conduct. Cepeda is already a level 1 sex offender who pleaded guilty to the same charges against another 14-year-old in 2010. Just 5 months after he was released from custody in that case, he was again accused of sexual assault, this time against 2 adult tourists. He was convicted in 2012 of 3rd and 4th degree criminal sexual conduct and sentenced to 10 years in prison. However, he was granted early parole in November 2018, and that's according to court documents. Still in the works of securing a third-party custodian, defendant Jeremy Pangilinan will return to court for a continued trial setting at the end of the month. Pangilinan was arrested after taking police on a high-speed chase from Harmon to Dededo. The pursuit ended with 2 officers opening fire and the defendant hospitalized for a week. In court today, Judge Anita Socola asked Pangilinan if the scar on the back of his head was from the recent incident, and he said, quote, "Yes, Your Honor, from the shot." The judge also asked Pangilinan if he was still seeing a doctor, and he said, "No, Your Honor, and there is lead still stuck in my finger." Defense attorney Steve Hattori was asked to look into it. Pangilinan will be back in court on December 30th. 21-year-old Gavin Domingo Alimorong is accused of beating and strangling a pregnant woman. The two were in a hotel room in Tumon when the woman confronted Alimorong about taking drugs. Court documents state he told her he had been taking Xanax, and when he caught her flushing it down the toilet, he began to assault her. Alimorong is accused of pulling the victim by her hair and swinging her against the bathroom sink, punching her, and strangling her. He eventually backed off when she pulled out her pocket knife. Alimorong faces multiple charges, including strangulation, assault, and assault on an unborn child. This morning on the lawn of the Guam Congress building, a flag raising was hosted by the 35th Guam Legislature. The ceremony was to celebrate the 383rd birthday of the National Guard. All current, former, and retired soldiers and airmen of the Guam National Guard, as well as all their sister services, were invited to join in honoring our flags and cutting the celebratory cake. On this date in 1636, the first militia regiments in North America were organized in the state of Massachusetts. Keep it here. Andy Wheeler is next with sports.
Morning. 2 coffees and 4 orders of those new donut sticks.
You must really love these donut sticks.
I do, but they're not for me. They're for them.
Meet me in the middle. I'm losing my mind.
I will take a coffee, though.
Introducing new cinnamon sugar donut sticks from McCafe. Made fresh every morning. It's a little sweet to go with your coffee.
Holidays happening at Docomo Pacific's Red Friday. Purchase select phones on our popular Now program and choose a free gift, like free wireless earphones or huge discounts on the latest smartwatch. Prepaid friends get free load with select prepaid phones. And get a chance to win a Nintendo Switch when you take a selfie with our new AI dog, Spark. Come in for a happening holiday now. Docomo Pacific, better together. Some conditions apply.
Guam's auto appearance specialist, Elegant Reflections, has been providing the automotive industry with professional detailing and car care products at its highest quality, from complete detailing, full interior detailing, exterior detailing, headlamp restoration, hand washing, seat and carpet shampoo, engine degreasing, undercarriage cleaning, paint sealant, fabric protection, paint oxidation removal, and so much more. Visit us at our new location. Call 646-5555 for an appointment. Elegant Reflections, Guam's auto appearance specialist, over 20 years of experience.
KUAM Sports is presented by Triple J. All right, welcome to sports, and for the second time this week, we're going to be talking about lifting weights, but a slightly different discipline. And joining us here, we have Coach Jeffrey Martin. Welcome to the show.
Well, thank you for having me.
So what are your credentials, Coach?
So I've been in the sport since about 2013 as a competitor. About a year later, I got my coach's certification while I was in Chicago. And I've been coaching and competing since 2014.
So staying busy, obviously.
Staying busy. But the Navy's my primary job, and then coaching and competing are kind of my part-time job.
Okay.
So, but I enjoy doing all
the
three.
benefits are, they speak for themselves, the health, the physical fitness, and just the ability to, be able to do everything your job requires of you.
That's true, yes.
So we're talking about a little coaching session that you have at Custom Fitness this Sunday, the 15th. Now, earlier this week, we were talking to Grace about deadlifting, but you're talking about snatch lifting. Explain the difference.
So a deadlift is just from the ground to you lift it up to you stand up completely. The bar's at your hip. Right. With the snatch, it's from the ground to overhead in one motion.
That's the one we see in the Olympics a lot, where it's just boom.
Yep. So it has your longest distance to travel from beginning to end.
Okay, so one of the keys with lifting a lot of weight is form.
Yes.
I'm sure you've seen many injuries, many people that they're sore afterwards because their form is off. What is one of the mistakes that you see most common?
Most of the time it's people doing too much weight at the beginning and dialing it back and working on that technique, which will then help you progress to lifting that heavier weight and prevent you from getting injured.
So have the fundamentals down first.
Yes,
Start with a
exactly.
lightweight. If I go into the gym and I see you snatching whatever it is, that I'm not going to try to do that right off the bat. I need to start at my level, get the form down, and then those weights are going to seem a lot lighter because your form is proper.
Exactly, right. And you might just start with the barbell, but
That's
over
fine.
time, you will have the 100 kilos on the barbell that you've been seeking for however long.
So what's your snatch record at the moment?
My best training snatch is 118 kilos, so somewhere right around 258 pounds, I think. Yeah, they can do the math to figure out the exact pounds if they want. And then, so my best competition lift is 108 kilos. So there is a little bit difference. Normally your training best is not going to be your competition best.
Okay, because competition, you're really pushing yourself.
You are, so the adrenaline might be up. You might not necessarily get that what you did in training.
Okay, so this little clinic that you're having, who's this for? Is it experienced weightlifters or anybody that wants to try it out?
It's for everybody. It could be a person that's never touched a barbell to somebody that's maybe been in the sport 5 or 6 years. This is really going to focus in on the technique side, and we're going to learn if, hey, can you even overhead squat the bar? And if you can't overhead squat, you can probably put the barbell overhead and hold it, so we can work on different types of different types of snatches. So whether it's a power snatch or a full snatch, meaning you go into an overhead squat.
And on the flyer, it says Olympic refresher. Tell us about why you're using that terminology.
So for the people that are experienced in the lift, or they don't do it that often, it'll kind of be a refresher course to get them back into the technique side of the lift.
If they choose to be competitive or just do it for their own personal records, I want to set my own records at the gym.
Yep.
So everyone is involved. It's at Custom Fitness this Sunday. What time are we looking at?
We're going to start at 8 a.m. and it should wrap up right around 10 a.m.
Okay. So anybody that has been lifting for a while, do you think it's good to sometimes go back and kind of revisit the fundamentals? Because you kind of get it, no, this is what works for me, but you looking at someone else, you can think, well, I think your form is a little off there.
Definitely, because any competitive lifter is always going to revert back to some type of technique cycle in their training, so they focus back to the basics, because that's what it's all about. That foundation that you started, it needs to be consistent all the time, and you do that through technique.
Technique, reps.
Reps, yes, exactly. We're going to do a lot of reps on Sunday, so they'll get a good workout while they're there too.
Kids can get into it as well?
Yes. If you had kids and you wanted to bring them along, I'd say about 8 years and up for the kids would be a good time to start them in the sport of weightlifting.
All right, fantastic. Jeff, thank you so much.
Well, thank you for having me.
All right, Custom Fitness this Sunday, guys. Don't miss it.
The Matson USO Rock and Run for Our Heroes is coming back to the Guam Museum, Skinner Plaza, on Saturday, December 14th. Check out our fast and easy registration online at guam.uso.org. We'll be rocking out with music throughout the course. Lace up your shoes, bring your family and friends, and rock and run for our heroes on December 14th. Sign up today online at USO Tumon Bay and the Royal Orchid Hotel or at USO Anderson. Special thanks to title sponsor Matson and all supporters of our USO Rock and Run for Our Heroes 5K.
MTO, professional janitorial services with a warm hospitality touch. MTO gives that gift year-round. Pressure wash roofs, pressure wash driveways, lawn service, home cleaning, carpet restoration, office cleaning, commercial window cleaning, floor care. When cleaning is in order, MTO has you covered. Call 647-6861 to inquire on how you can receive the maintenance you deserve.
MTO, celebrating 30 years with you, Guam.
And before we close out the news tonight, our latest round of birthday shout-outs from the Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club.
Let's head you into your island weekend by saying happy birthday to the Friday, December 13th birthday celebrants, led off by Danielle Kinata, who celebrates a birthday today. Happy birthday, Danielle, and we hope you had a wonderful day. Aiden and Cohen Bautista celebrate birthdays today, so happy birthday to the both of you. We hope you had a wonderful day. It's also happy birthday to Sylvia Kanata, so from all of us at Cold Stone Creamery and KUAM, happy birthday to you. Also, happy birthday number 20 to Sindel Alexandria. Lots of love always coming from your family. And also, happy birthday number 60. John F. Blas turned 60 today. And your wife Carmen, kids and grandkids send you a happy birthday and all of their love and the very best.
And remember, you can be a part of the Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club by registering